In 2025, Amazon pulled in about $716.9 billion in net sales. That number is so big it barely feels real. And yet, when you look at the Amazon store we all use, a lot of what's happening isn't about making money on the item. Sometimes margins are razor thin. Sometimes the company will push prices down so hard it barely looks profitable at all. From the outside, it can look like a contradiction. How can a company be that huge and still act like it's willing to sacrifice profit? But that's the point. Amazon didn't build its empire by winning on one product. It built it by winning on a system designed to make buying feel frictionless, predictable, and honestly, addictive. By the end of this video, you'll understand the real strategy behind the lose now, win later approach, and why it turned Amazon into the default place people shop without even thinking. So let's start with the simplest idea behind the entire business: Amazon's flywheel. A flywheel is a loop, a cycle. When it starts turning, it's slow at first, hard to move, heavy. But once it has momentum, it rates it as texture. Freyros my serbi. Cool. Storagers nice start to stop. Amazon's flywheel starts with lower prices. Lower prices pull in more customers. More customers create more traffic. More traffic attracts more third-party sellers who want access to that audience. More sellers increase selection. More selection improves the customer experience. A better experience brings in more customers. And the loop gets stronger, faster, heavier. This is why, for years, Amazon confused Wall Street, because traditional businesses are built to maximize profits in the short term. But Amazon, for a long time, was built to maximize momentum. It wasn't just selling you a book or a phone charger, it was building the habit of going to Amazon first. And that habit is worth more than the profit on any single product. Now, the flywheel by itself is just a concept. The real question is, how do you make it spin? That's where Amazon made one of its biggest bets: Prime. When Amazon Prime launched in 2005, it cost $79 a year in the US. The promise was simple: fast shipping that felt free. And at first glance, this looks like a terrible deal for Amazon. Shipping is expensive. 2-day shipping at scale is extremely expensive. So why do it? Because Prime wasn't just a shipping program. Prime was a psychology program. Before Prime, people would pause. They'd fill up a basket, wait, compare, hesitate. With Prime, that hesitation started disappearing. Because once shipping feels already paid for, your brain stops treating it like a cost. It becomes frictionless, and frictionless shopping changes behavior. Suddenly, you're not saving purchases for one big order. You're ordering the one thing you want right now, then another thing tomorrow, then another thing 2 days later. Prime didn't just increase convenience, it increased frequency. And that frequency is the real gold. Prime is still one of Amazon's strongest lock-in mechanisms today, even as the price has gone up over time, including the US annual fee increase from $119 to $139 announced in 2022. Now, quick honesty check. Amazon does not regularly publish a current official global Prime member count. So when you see numbers like 240 million, treat them as estimates, not official reporting. But whether the estimate is 240 million or 250 million, the point is the same. Prime helped turn Amazon from a store you visit into a membership you live inside. And once Prime pulled customers in, Amazon moved to the next phase: the physical build-out, warehouses, fulfillment centers, trucks, planes, last-mile delivery. This is the part that looks like a money pit from the outside. Because Amazon spends aggressively to shorten delivery times and increase reliability. And that infrastructure is not easy to copy. It takes years, massive capital, and constant optimization. But here's what that logistics build-out really does. It turns shipping speed into a moat. Because if you can get something to someone faster, more reliably, and at a lower delivery cost per package, you start winning in ways that don't show up on a single product margin. You win on trust, on routine, on I don't even need to check another website. Now at this point, you might be wondering, okay, but where's the profit if prices are low and shipping is expensive? Here's the reveal. Amazon is not just one business. It's multiple businesses stacked on top of each other. And some of those businesses are far more profitable than the store you see. First, AWS, Amazon. Web Services is the cloud division, and AWS is a major reason Amazon can keep pushing low prices and fast delivery because it throws off significant operating profit. In 2025, AWS sales were about $128.7 billion, out of Amazon's $716.9 billion total. And multiple analyses of Amazon's 2025 results show AWS accounted for roughly 57% of Amazon's operating profit, despite being a much smaller share of sales. That's the engine most shoppers never see. The store is what you interact with. The cloud is what helps fund the machine. Second, the marketplace. This is where Amazon got even smarter. In the early days, Amazon acted like a traditional retailer. It bought inventory and sold it to you. That's expensive, low margin, risky. Over time, Amazon shifted more of the store to third-party sellers. Now, independent sellers account for around 60% or more of unit sales, depending on the period measured. And here's the beautiful part for Amazon. When third-party sellers sell, Amazon collects fees, commissions, fulfillment fees, shipping-related fees, and other services. In 2025, Amazon's third-party seller services revenue was about $172.17 billion, up from about $156.15 billion in 2024. So Amazon increasingly becomes less of a retailer holding inventory risk and more of an infrastructure owner charging tolls on the ecosystem. And then there's advertising. This is another quiet profit lever most casual shoppers forget. In 2025, Amazon's advertising revenue surpassed $68 billion. So think about what the flywheel becomes over time. Low prices attract shoppers. Shoppers attract sellers. Sellers pay fees to compete. And those fees help fund the experience that attracts more shoppers. It's not just a store. It's a self-reinforcing loop. Now, let's talk about the part people feel in their day-to-day lives. The free shipping illusion. Prime changed expectations. 2-day shipping became normal, then 1 day. Then same day in some places. And when expectations rise like that, competitors get squeezed. Because matching Amazon isn't just about building a website. It's about matching delivery speed, inventory distribution, and logistics, which takes years and huge cost. So when people say Amazon loses money on purpose, the more accurate way to say it is this: Amazon has historically been willing to sacrifice short-term retail margin and reinvest heavily because it was building a system where profits come from multiple layers, not just the product itself. And in recent years, the tone has shifted. With Andy Jassy becoming CEO in 2021, Amazon has put more focus on efficiency and profitability, including cost controls and restructuring. And Amazon has also found more ways to monetize what used to feel included, like moving Prime Video toward limited ads by default in some markets, with an option to pay more for ad-free viewing. That's part of what happens when a flywheel matures. At first, you invest to build momentum. Later, you start turning the dial on monetization. Not because the early strategy was a lie, but because the system is strong enough to extract more value without breaking the habit. Now, one quick note. When you talk about dominance, keep it calm, not conspiratorial. Amazon's size and practices have been scrutinized in different ways, including legal actions tied to marketplace behavior and pricing dynamics. You don't have to scream monopoly to make the point. The point is, this is a company built around structural advantage. So, what's the lesson in all of this? Amazon is a masterclass in playing the long game. Lowering prices wasn't generosity, it was momentum. Fast shipping wasn't just service, it was lock-in. Warehouses weren't just infrastructure, they were a moat. AWS wasn't just a side business, it became a profit engine. Marketplace fees weren't just extra revenue, they became the toll road of the ecosystem. And once the flywheel is spinning, the most powerful thing is that you, the customer, don't feel like you're being forced. You feel like you're choosing convenience, which is exactly why it works. If you enjoy calm, story-driven breakdowns of how the biggest companies actually win, subscribe to Lux Habits Hub. And tell me this, what's the last thing you bought on Amazon that you could have easily bought somewhere else, but didn't? Because that little decision is the flywheel in action.